Hello Capricorn, I hope you are doing well. Oh, and the sun's just come out for you, Cappy. So Cappy, very quick introduction. There isn't going to be any dates on these readings anymore, so no matter what time you find the video, if you find that the message is resonating, then that's absolutely fine. It's not time stamped. Energies can be reversed, so if I'm interpreting one side of the story is you, Cappy, but you're resonating more with the other side of the story, then that's absolutely fine. You can reverse the roles as well. It's just a lot easier if I stick with one storyline rather than switching and swapping between the energies, because then it can get really confusing. And then last but not least, please don't try and force the message to fit Capricorn, because, you know, then you're just going to be getting misinformation that might not necessarily be for you, and then it's just going to get confusing as well. So it's just a lot easier if, you know, you really do think that the message is resonating for you, that's great, but just don't try and force the messages to fit, basically. So Capricorn, you are my first one back after a little bit of a break. I've had a few days off, but I'm excited to get into your reading. So we're just going to wait for the cards to jump, because that's usually how I read the cards. I much prefer to know that a message is definitely wanting to come through, because I can tell if the card jumps, then it's very eagerly wanting to say something to us. So Capricorn, my mummy is a Capricorn. So lots of love to all the Cappies out there. Lots of love to you all. There we go. Ooh, okay, Cappy. So we have the snake, or two snakes. So first glance at the card, you know, instantly I'm sort of hearing like an entanglement of some description. You know, you're tied in knots, Capricorn, maybe, or maybe somebody around you is kind of experiencing this energy. But there's something about you that is in a state of confusion, I want to say, or everything feels very confusing right now. I mean, you know, I wouldn't be surprised with everything that's going on. A lot of the signs have had, you know, underlying threads of what everybody's going through in the world right now. But you know, Capricorn, you are somebody who's very meticulous with details. You know, you're somebody very detail orientated, somebody who's very organized, very practical, you know, very, very practical minded. So when things kind of enter a state of confusion, Cappy, it's almost like you want order. You want order to return, okay? You know, you are your Saturn, so, you know, Saturn is law and order, you know, as a physical manifestation in the earth realm. So there's definitely something about you that is struggling to cope with the amount of disharmony that is around you right now. And I'm literally getting, like, you might actually be getting physical symptoms of, you know, your stomach, like stomach cramps, or lower back pain as well, or lower back discomfort. And the reason why I say that is because the snake, although it can be many of the chakras, it usually makes me think of the root chakra, okay? Because the root chakra in the esoteric is where the kundalini sits, you know, it's at the base of the spine. You know, it's where our root system goes out, it's what keeps us grounded. So it instantly reminds me of the kundalini, which reminds me of the root chakra. So that's why I'm saying that the amount of stress or the amount of entanglement, the amount of chaos that you're experiencing right now, around you might actually be physically manifesting as a symptom of discomfort in the body, okay? So let me just look a bit more at the symbolism so I can pull out some more messages here. Okay, so one thing that is coming through, Capricorn, is you can be very feisty, okay? Although you are an earth sign, okay, you are cardinal earth, and all the cardinal signs have a bit of a feisty nature about them. But Capricorn, there's a real message coming through here right now that there is a need to be very careful with how you might be coming across to people, how you might be communicating things to people, okay? I'm not getting the sense that you're doing it on purpose, and, you know, you genuinely might not even realize you're doing it, but there's just a message that's kind of coming through that is telling you that you need to be very careful in how you articulate yourself and how you form your sentences. Be very conscious that you are limiting the amount of negative communication that you are putting out there, okay? That could be through the spoken word, that could be at work, that could be, you know, through messages. You know, text can very easily be misinterpreted. But there's something here about, you know, like, watch your tongue, Cappy. Like, watch your tongue. Just be very careful of what it is that you're saying, because everybody right now is experiencing a lot of chaos and discomfort. So, you know, a lot of people are feeling very vulnerable, very exposed, very touchy right now. So there's something here about Cappy that whenever you're dealing with other people, whoever this might be, family, work colleagues, friends, you know, anybody, there's just a real need for you to take the higher ground. Okay, take the higher ground. If anybody is insensitive towards you, don't take it personally right now, because everybody's going through a lot of crap that they're trying to deal with. And then likewise, you know, Capricorn, it is your job to take a higher ground in some situation and to not actually react from the root chakra, which rules the instinctual nature, okay? Because the root chakra is all about our stability. In the physical, it's about what keeps us grounded, where we feel safe. It's our fight or flight mechanism, okay? So it is the primal instinct that humans have, okay? So there's this message here of, don't react impulsively, Capricorn. Don't react from all that overactive root chakra that might be going on right now. Don't act from a place of instinct, act from a place of higher wisdom, because what's quite paradoxical about the snake is, although it represents the root chakra, the basal energies of fight or flight, you know, it's instinctive, it's, you know, it's like the snake in the Bible, you know, it's the temptations of the physical, you know, it's like, it can be a symbol of like sinning, you know, if we want to get, I'm not religious, but, you know, if we want to get down that religious symbolic route. But at the same time, the snake is also one of the most highly spiritual symbols, in the sense that it is actually the Kundalini, okay? Okay, and I imagine most people watching this video is aware of what the Kundalini is, because, you know, it's quite a common term in the esoteric. But for those of you who might not know what the Kundalini is, it is this idea that every single one of us at the base of our spine, where the root chakra is, has a coil of energy, which is why it's represented by the snake. And the purpose of incarnating here on earth is to basically untangle the snake so that the energy can rise from the base of your spine up through all of the chakra system to the crown. Okay, it's basically a sign of enlightenment. Okay, so that's why it's one of the most spiritual symbols in the esoteric. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. There's a real need for you to take the higher ground and act from the Kundalini aspect, okay? You know, the higher truth, higher wisdom, rather than what you might just be emotionally impulsed to respond in. Does that make sense? So that's why I'm saying, you know, if you're in a situation that's someone speaking insensitively to you, you know, or there's just a lot of chaos and you're feeling quite ungrounded, try not to act purely from an emotional standpoint. Try and act from a place of experience, of higher wisdom, which I know you have tons of, Cappy. Okay, so, oh, I like it. I like it. Good message for Cappy. Okay, so we're going to go to the fairies and we're going to see what other messages come out for Cappy. There we go. Okay, so how do you say that? Taten? Taten the Sylph? I can never really say the name sometimes. It's the font in them. Sorry, it doesn't focus, by the way, for some reason, my camera, but I'm pretty sure this is Taten the Sylph. Yeah, Taten the Sylph. Okay, so the symbolism behind this card, Capricorn, is a tendency to be flighty or a tendency to change one's mind very quickly. It's an extremely ungrounded energy, actually. It's an energy that is super quick moving. It belongs to the air realm. Obviously we can see, you know, she's absolutely lit up and she's winged, she's in flying. She's actually in mid-flight in this picture. Okay, so she's going in one direction and then she takes a quick turn and ends up going in another direction. So, you know, I just kind of want to be drawn back to, you know, what I was saying right at the start of the video, Cappy, where I was saying that you might be feeling very confused or very in knots, very emotionally unstable right now. I'm not saying that you're crazy, Cappy. I'm not saying that you're crazy. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is it's that disharmony. Okay, you're feeling very emotionally vulnerable, or there's a lot of emotional disharmony in you right now. So there's something about you that's quite ungrounded, okay? Because you're Capricorn, right? You're one of the earth signs of the zodiac, okay? So, and actually, if anything, a lot, I know they say Taurus is, you know, it's fixed, so that's the most earthed sign of the zodiac, but actually you often find Capricorns can be, okay, because Capricorn is so concerned with the 3D physical. It's concerned with, you know, achieving success, your career, you know, what you can immediately see around you. You know, it's an extremely physical sign. So when everything kind of gets thrown up in the air, all right, everything gets thrown up in the air, this card here, which is exactly what's happened for the majority of people right now. You know, that is very unsettling for you, because Capricorn, you like to have boundaries, okay? You're Saturn, okay? Saturn with its rings represents boundaries. You like to have clear boundaries, clear guidelines on how things are done, or a way of doing things, okay? So when something comes in to remove those boundaries from you, it can be very unsettling and unnerving, which is why I'm saying, Capricorn, that you're quite ungrounded, very scatterbrain at the minute. Or if it's not scatterbrain, then it's just really up in your mind, really overthinking quite a lot. And it's almost like there's so much information pouring into your mind at the minute, Cappy, or your mind is running on a treadmill so quickly that it's not even directed thought. It's just kind of chaotic thought, okay? With all this, like, you see all this light activity that's around her wings, okay? Because in the esoteric, you know, the air element always represents the mind, okay? It's the swords and the tarot. Which is why I'm saying that there's something about you that's actually been brought out of your physical body, Earth, up into the realm of the mind, and it's just super chaotic. And, you know, it feels almost slightly overwhelming. In fact, I'm kind of getting like, you know, like a tightness in my chest, you know. So it could be really stressful for you right now, Capricorn. I'm getting a lot of stress. It could feel like the world's burdens are starting to go onto your back. They're starting to, like, literally push you over. Like, you know, it's like Atlas carrying the world. It's like the weight of the world is on your shoulders at the minute, Cappy, or it can feel like that in certain moments. I can imagine a lot of people would relate to this, whether they're Capricorn or not right now, just with everything that's going on. So let me, oh, hold on, let me change my ring, it was on the wrong finger. Let me get a bit more Cappy. What time are we on? 30 minutes. Oh. You know, it's interesting how I just said 13 as well, because, oh, 13 in numerology, you know, it condenses down to 4, and 4 is all about foundations. It's our stability. So, Cappy, I'm definitely getting the sense of there's something with your stability. You see this structure here, this like pillar. There's something that's really stressing you out about your stability. You're feeling really unstable right now, which is why I'm saying your mental realm feels unstable. It feels chaotic because your physical realm feels unstable and chaotic. It's like the foundations have been pushed out from under you. They've been, you know, they're starting to crack, they're starting to crumble, or at least that's what it feels like from your perspective. Okay, let me just grab the other card. Okay, right, you had 3 cards come out, Cappy, so I'm just going to show them. So you had Unity, Spirit Dancer, and the Ra card. So just give me a minute. Okay, so we're going to start with the Ra card here. Okay, so what's really interesting, what I find really interesting about this, Cappy, is if we look at all these cards together, how similar is all of the artwork? You see how it's very like feathery? It's really feathery, it's all paintings of light. It's electrical. You know, this is what I'm saying about something's really, really pulling you up into the mind space right now, Cappy. So with the Ra card, okay, this often reminds me of like something coming up to the surface, because if you see the way that, you know, the direction that the ball's kind of moving towards, it almost looks like a whale that's coming up into the surface of the water. So I do want to say, Cappy, that there's something about this whole situation that is really bringing up some real deep emotions of yours and kind of bringing them to the surface. And I do want to say that the emotions that you're feeling aren't necessarily positive. Oh, Cap, your whole reading's just really stressed, like really stressful. Whichever Capricorns that I'm connecting out here, I think are having quite a difficult time with everything that's going on. You know, it could be because of everything that's going on in the world right now, or it could be because of that, plus some things that are going on in your personal life. But there's something like this just, oh, it's like a lump in your throat, Cappy. I think whatever it is that you're going through, it's just making you really emotional. Like, really emotional. With the Spirit Dancer here, it's like you want to break free from it. You don't want to be in this state of mind, Cappy. This isn't your usual. Your usual is order. Orderly. You're very, very good at saving face. You're very, very good at not letting things get on top of you, which is why you make excellent managers, because you can deal with a lot of different things, a lot of information, a lot of different situations all at the same time, and you can bring order to it. Saturn, as I was saying, law and order. So this isn't like you, Cappy. You're really wanting to like break free from this. Do you see how she's like pushing? She's reaching forward for something. And you know, if we go back to the whale, there's something here, you know, about you feeling suffocated. Okay, whale underwater. It's like you need to come to the surface. Like, it's stressing you out that much, Capricorn, that you literally feel like you need to come to the surface to breathe. It's like you're drowning a little bit, you know? The emotions are really getting on top of you, especially these deep emotions that are welling up from inside. It's the Capricorns that I'm connecting with aren't used to feeling this big surge of emotions that maybe you've suppressed for a really long time, Cappy. You might be faced right now with a lot of emotions that you've suppressed for a long time, and now because you're being left to sit with them, because there's less distractions going on right now, you're being made to sit with them. You're being made to reflect, you know, water, reflections. You're really starting to have to look into the heart of matters or things that you feel and reflect upon how it's affected you, maybe. And there's something about it that feels really overwhelming, and Capricorn just really wants to push to the surface and just break through and be able to just drop all the weight. Because this is like a weighted bowling ball. This is heavy. This is the complete opposite. This is the Spirit Dancer. You know, she's up in the air, she's flying, she's free, she's twirling, she's spinning, she's loving life. It's super Aquarian energy. Really just free. So there's really something, you know, Cappy, about you wanting to drop all this heaviness. And you're wanting to burst forth and like just go back to how things was, or just go back to feeling not so weighted. Because even though you're Earth, you're cardinal, right? So you're still active, you're still in active movement. You know, you're not fully weighted down. So you really do just want to break free. And the positive message, Cappy, that's coming through with this reading is you're here wanting to break free from all this heaviness, this intensity, this entanglement, the stress, the anxiety that you've been feeling recently. God, I can feel it, man. I can feel the pressure on my chest. But this card's kind of coming in now. This Unity card is coming in now to say, like, Capricorn, don't worry. Really don't worry, because although, you know, look what's incredible about this, right? Look at the symmetry in these cards. See how these snakes are entwined, and then this Unity has this like plait going through it of light. Capricorn, even though things might be feeling super entangled right now, what you're not seeing or what you're not realizing, that this is actually a coming together. This is actually, because all of these light cards in the deck represent spirit. They represent a much, much higher frequency than where we are right now in the physical. These are like divine forces outside of humanity that influence us. It's really, really divine energy that comes through these cards. So even though, you know, you're experiencing this down here, which is very earthly entanglement, chaos, disorder, everything a Capricorn hates, what you're not realizing is that this is actually, there's a much higher force working behind this, and things are actually falling into place perfectly, although it might not feel like it right now. So I really feel like this final card's just coming through, Cappy, to tell you, like, don't worry, don't stress too much. I know it might be difficult to see. I'm really sorry that the light is putting a lot of glare on this card. But even though you might not see it, Cappy, everything is coming together. There is actually order in the disorder. There's actually order to the chaos. There's a purpose, there's a reason behind it. You might not be able to see it now, but it's like once everything kind of comes together, once everything weaves together the way it needs to, once it's tied its little knot at the end and it's ready, then it's like, you can see the bigger picture, and you get this just understanding all of a sudden. It's like clarity. It's like a light bulb just kind of goes off, and it's like, whoo, this is like your mind here, Cappy. Light bulb goes off, you start making all the connections. It's like, there was a reason. I can see that now. Everything's falling into place, or everything did fall into place. So this is a really positive message to finish it off, Cappy. I really do feel like this is like, you know, higher energies coming in here that are wanting you to just be like, relax, Cappy. Ground yourself. Don't get overwhelmed. Try your hardest not to. Don't push away any emotions that might come to the surface. You know, face them, sit with them, process them. But don't allow it to overwhelm you. And more importantly, keep this message in the back of your mind that everything is working out for the highest good, Cappy, and for your highest good. And everything is going to come together. You don't actually have to worry. Oh, Cappy, that was a really sweet message. Cappy, I'm really, really sad to like see how much stress and just shadow is kind of in this reading. This is probably like one of the heaviest readings that I've done so far from all of the zodiacs that I've done this week. So there's clearly some Capricorns out there that are struggling, but you know, you're genuinely not alone, Capricorn. You know, this message I'm sure will apply to a lot of people right now, but there's definitely a message of love, light and hope there. So I really hope that kind of lifts your spirits a little bit, Cappy, and helps you to, you know, take away some of the stress and anxiety that you might be feeling. Okay, Cappy, so I'm going to end it there, but I hope that you stay safe, my lovely Capricorns. I hope that soon enough you'll start having smiles on your faces again, and I am sending you lots of love and light, and I hope to see you in my next video, Capricorn. Mwah!